Now,
turn
down
the lights.
You're
Listening to
somewhere in
Dreamland.
Welcome back, dreamers. I'm your host, Ken Mark, and you're listening to Somewhere in Dreamland. Be sure to check out the show on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, the UNX Network, and on the Dreamland website at www.dreamlandpodcast.weebly.com, where you can listen to the show live, check out older episodes, get links to past guests, and find the Dreamland merch store. That's www.dreamlandpodcast.weebly.com. Coming up June 29th, I'll be speaking with demonologist and exorcist Bishop James Long. Then, on July 7th, I welcome back author and researcher Preston Dennett to discuss his new book, Cemetery, A True UFO Adventure. Tonight, my guest is Dr. Christopher Macklin. Dr. Macklin specializes in healing abductees and others who have suffered related negative ET trauma. He assists people in removing negative ET presences from their lives, clearing homes and land, and closing multidimensional portals. He also works tirelessly with Illuminati Fallout children who have been mind-controlled and physically tortured by ET-influenced governmental agencies and institutions. In addition, he works very closely with the Pleiadians and the Acterians to help heal and rebalance humanity. He has a new book out and protocol that addresses the negative ET presence and how it has affected humanity. Today, Christopher is an internationally known energy healer who specializes in healing people from all forms of illnesses, especially those created through ET technologies such as Morgellons, Lymes, and etc. Hey, Dr. Macklin, how are you doing tonight?
Yay, Ken. Thanks for having me on. It's wonderful to be here. I'm wonderful, bless you.
Yes, sir.
It's a crazy world. I'm wonderful.
It is a crazy world, isn't it? And that's part of the fun of it, you know. Like there's so much going on that it's interesting and it never gets old, you know.
No, I think, and that's the thing, you know, it piques your interest because I think it's really important not to, you know, how many clients do I get? So, well, I don't belong here. Well, don't try. You got in God's queue and you said, yeah, I'll volunteer. And you get down here and think, oh my God, are you sure I'm on the right planet? Well, yeah, you know, but it's important to turn our lives around to become a sovereign being and like a warrior. It takes a little bit of doing, even for starseed people who have volunteered to come down, because, you know, you get relentlessly attacked by off-planet ETs and different things, and there's different influences. And so, you know, it takes quite a bit of work on yourself. Plus, of course, there's a ton of emotion we're ingesting by what's going on and the collective, and then you've got past life emotion coming in, and then you've got your own emotion in your own life. So, you know, I'm surprised we're all still here ingesting this level of emotion, but we're warriors, and that's what it's all about.
Yes, sir. I agree. So I want to start off. Could you give me a little bit of background about yourself and how you found your way down this path that you're currently on? Because I'll tell you this right now. You literally have so many irons in the fire that it was an adventure just for me to come up with an opener that attempts to encompass all that you do. It's crazy.
Well, you know, I was born under Melchizedek Being. I didn't realize it till later on. What does that mean? Well, my mother was abducted and implanted me because you need 84% Melchizedek DNA to get the soul in. And that's one of the things about, you know, off-planet people, you know, like starseeds. A lot of them are spliced in at birth because that means their mother was abducted or, you know, and they use the DNA to get enough DNA so the soul can sit in the body. If you don't, the soul can't sit in your body. So I realized that, you know, a little bit later on. But, you know, when I was born, I could see things in the sky. Dad, there's a spaceship. You know, what? You know, oh, it's your imagination. Dad, there's a reptilian in my bedroom. You know, like an Anunnaki. Where? You know, no, it's just you've got a really extraordinary imagination. It's there. You know, and the reason why I knew it was there, you might say, well, yeah, what's the difference between imagination and actually knowing? Well, very often your imagination is knowing anyway, but one of the things I felt, from Anunnaki beings, and they're over 10 foot tall, sometimes 12 foot tall, they're big old reptilian beings, but you can feel their energy. You feel like this tighten of the chest, like dark, like, whoa, this is not good. And, that's what gave me, even the age of 4, I understood it, because my soul dates back to who knows when, but it's almost infinite. So, I've seen a lot of this stuff, and even the age of 4, somehow you get this inner strength to know that it's all okay, I can deal with this, So I learned to deal with them, I just basically told it, right, get out of my bedroom. It went, oh, that worked, But there was a lot of power behind it. And I could still see these things, didn't tell anybody because I realized very quickly that people didn't see it. And of course, if I kept seeing these things, they'd take you to a psychiatrist, put you on meds, and it'd dumb you down. So I stopped telling people about it and just, I can see them. That's okay. So anyway, I had a great, great upbringing. My father said, you're too thick to get a degree. And I had dyslexia. So, of course, in England, if you can't spell, well, you're in the remedial class, even though I was brilliant at maths. And so in the remedial class, and, anyway, when I left school, I was sponsored to do a degree, and they said, you're too thick to do a degree. Oh, I'm getting one of those. So I got one. You're too thick to get a master's, so I got one of those as well. Is it very useful? Not really, but I was determined to show myself and step up to the game and do the opposite of what my father said, because of course he's berating me. So I thank him for that, for berating me, because it made me into a very strong being. So we move along in life. I get corporate jobs, very highly paid. I start building, refurbing houses, and I got about 20 odd houses in England. And then I decided a very sensible thing, let's build 176 apartments. Never built them before. Oh, what a mistake. So within a year, we were struggling with it, huge money involved, like millions and millions of pounds. And one day the bank phoned me up and said, these apartments are worth £220,000. They're now worth 90. You've got 14 days to pay all your money back, otherwise we'll take your bankrupt. And of course, okay. So, of course, I did say something at the time. So, well, I've got £10 in my pocket. Would that help? They didn't seem to see the funny side, so never mind. So anyway, went bankrupt, marriage split up, everything changed, and then I find myself, someone allowed me to use an apartment for 4 weeks, and then I was kind of living out of a car, so for quite a while. And it was an interesting journey because, I hated money, hated it with a passion. And it was interesting because, I went without food for 21 days, 7 days, whatever. And when I was in Belize, someone sponsored me to go into Belize. So I went to Belize and no food. Okay, so after 21 days, I got really fed up with it. And, I said to the God realm or the Melchizedek beings, I command I get food right now because I deserve it. And I thank you, God, send you my unconditional love within 15 minutes. Now, I really meant it because I was done. Like 21 days. If you've ever been without food for 21 days, you get absolutely exhausted. You can hardly do anything. Your whole bodily, function starts to really diminish badly. And so, anyway, this most dodgy guy in Belize, one of these, wheeling deers, Chris, look, he was looking around. Look, don't tell anybody, but here's $50 Belize dollars. Now, $50 Belize dollars in that time was worth $15 here. And that actually fed me. I could go for a 3-course meal every night. For about $1.20 or something. So wow. You can imagine it really blessed me. And it taught me about manifestation big time. When you've got no food, you manifest stuff, and you command it to happen. So we moved forward, went through the thing, and, I went to Chiantovich in Belize, sat in the Mayan temple. Now people say, the Mayan temple, Mayans are really dark. Well, of course they were. They were all manipulated. They used to cut people's hearts out and do sacrificial blah, blah, blah. And that's not okay. But the Mayan temples, they were very clever beings. They built them on ley lines, and they were very powerful. So I sat in this Mayan temple. They showed me my past lives, understood what I'm meant to be doing now. Right, we're good to go. So, and things changed after that. It really opened me up. And I was playing with things at home, trying things out, my gifts. And obviously the gift of healing took me a while to understand. Now, You can't just give somebody energy, because it doesn't work like that. You've got to understand the cause and effect. What causes cancer? Primary cause, emotion. Secondary cause, pathogens mutating the cells, turning into tumors. So we have solutions to this. Same with leukemia, same with all these diseases. Understanding how it works in the body, because if you just give them a bit of energy, that's not releasing the emotion. You've got to get rid of that emotion, and you always see people with cancer. Okay, so what happened 5 years earlier? Oh, my son committed suicide, or I got divorced, or, something happened, daughter passed away, something happened really big. And of course, they end up with cancer because they've ingested so much emotion with that, the trauma. So, I learned about all this, and, we help people we work on about 2,000 people a week, with general groups, specialized groups, and one-to-ones. But it took a while, you can't just, and I would encourage people listening out there, you can't just learn your gift in a day. It doesn't work like that. It might take a year, it might take 6 months, 2 years, who knows? And it took me about 3 or 4 years, and I was still healing people, but still learning. And now I've got a good grasp. Do I know everything? Probably not. But, I think I know enough to really help people get out of these traumas and get rid of these tumors and things like that, And, of course, I've been working with Morgellons. When I came to America, which is 2010, had no money, not a bean. And anyway, I came here, managed to get a green card and open the ministry, and nothing happened. The 501c3. I thought, build it, they'll come. Where are they? And so I spoke to them because they're being, where are they? They said, it's within, get out there. Oh, okay. So I remember the first place I went to, which is the Unity Church in St. Petersburg. I was asked to speak there in this bookshop. It was a big bookshop. And so I get there, and there's tons of people turn up, and people they had to shut the door because of fire regulation. I thought, why on earth are these people coming to see me? And I realized that it was a God thing, And we always talk about instances coinciding, things just happen. And so many people turned up, and I thought, wow, anyway, I started getting really busy. I went all over America, expos and different things, and it built and built and built, to what it is now. We have 10 staff. We do a lot of work for people. I do a lot of work on Morgellons, which is a very specialized disease, Morgellons particles, nanotechnology, and also Brilli-Lyme, HIV/AIDS, Agent Orange. We can strip that out of the body. And, it's an exciting time. And now, it's incredible. I just work for God. I live off donations, and, life is a blessing if you really surrender and allow it to happen.
So you bounce back. Sounds like you bounce back fully. Yeah.
The funny thing, you'll laugh at this. About 10, 12 years ago, I went for a reading in England, and the lady's sitting there, well, thank you. Thank you. I said, what are they saying? You're going to get remarried. She was a bit reluctant. You're going to go to America. Yeah. And you're going to live off donations, and you're going to work for God. And I was thinking, what? What are you on about? Yep, you're going to America. You're going to get remarried, live off donations, and work for God. Oh, here we are. It happened. But always remember, when you get readings, you can never tell the time scale because there is no time there,
Right.
So it's incredible. But yeah, bounce back completely. But one thing I'd say, Ken, and I think it's really important for people, that when I was in the corporate system, I worked for Philips Consumer Electronics, I worked for Marconi, Airbus Industries, whatever, and I was doing some pretty, top technology. But I was completely bored. There's got to be something, because I was doing it for paycheck. I didn't enjoy it. I was just doing it for paycheck. I thought, there's got to be more than this. But I think my soul was split in two in the last lifetime because, they knew that we'd be coming back. There's 5 Melchizedek beings here. And I think, the other person was there as not a decoy. She had work to do. And then it was me after came in, and I'm doing the work now, which is actually my biggest goal is to complete the Pyramid Project, which is a huge project. So things happen for a reason. So I was kind of sleeper until, 2007, and then bang, life changed. And, I got a massive 2x4 and it split my life apart, and off we went. Now I love life,
Yeah.
Before I didn't, I don't know about you, but, if you've ever been in a corporate system, I didn't enjoy life at all because it's not me, because I'm a starseed. And of course, you want to do big things.
So I want to unpack some of this that you just said. First of all, what exactly is a Melchizedek being? Did I say that right?
Beings. Yeah, Melchizedek beings.
Melchizedek, yeah. Okay.
Well, there's 5 Melchizedek beings. I know them all. And don't get confused by people who call themselves, Betty Melchizedek or Karen Melchizedek. They're part of the Magi. The Magi was the teachings of the Melchizedek beings, or the Melchizedek order. But like everything else down this planet, the teachings have been hijacked, of course. But the Melchizedek beings are from the ultimate dimension. They're here to monitor, they're here to help, and we come back periodically, and I have done for the last 4,000 years. In fact, if you're a starseed, you will come back for the last 4,000 years because, what's happened, there's been such a massive transition with this planet over the last 4,000 years that you need to come back periodically to, get the training of what differences it is from, say, 200 or 300 years ago, and then you come back again. But, we've been in training for now, so all the people that in biblical times, like Jesus the Christ and Buddha and whatever, they've been coming back to basically train themselves for right now, and this is it. And it's big, you look at the planet, you think, oh my God, where do we start to fix it? And the answer is it's being fixed. Bit by bit, it's happening. But, you just have to have patience and just spread your light and hold the space for it.
Okay. Now, how did you learn that you were one of these beings?
I was told by several people in the know, but plus I was shown, when I went to Belize, when I came back to the Mayan Temple, I was sitting in my room and they showed me it was like a 3D, almost like, a TV show where it's just in your room and you can see the characters there, literally, it's almost like a laser 3D image. And I was just watching this and I thought, well, this is one of the past lives, this is the other. And, I thought, well, so what, quite surprised by it, but so what, this is now, and to me, it's good to know your past lives, but don't get ego by it because you know what? This is really different right now. The energy is really dense. It's a lot more difficult to move through it. Plus, we're in an information, what would you call it? Don't like the word war. We're in an information time where, it's all, the things that are going on, it's all very much more subtle than it used to be. You haven't got troops on the ground or anything else. It's all information. That's what's going on for manipulation, of course. So it's a very, very different time.
Oh, yeah, you got that right. So
I hope everyone understands this. And oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you absolutely have that right. It is strange. I think, I tell my wife all the time, I think every person, when they get to a certain age, they go, man, the world's getting crazier and crazier and crazier. And then, because I remember hearing my grandparents, my parents say, man, the world's just going crazy. Well, geez, if my grandpa would see what was going on now, he would really think it's crazy, Well, it did happen to my father. He's 87, and he just thinks that, he's telling me the other day, he said, well, we've got a bit of a global warming issue. I said, what's causing that? And he goes, well, the cows passing wind. I said, okay. So what you're saying is cows farting is creating global? Yeah. I said, how do you know that? Well, the BBC told me. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
So, But, what I would encourage people, which I think is really important, if you don't mind me saying, Ken, is don't judge people because, what they believe their truth for the information they get from wherever it is their truth in their understanding. And our truth is very different, but you can't judge people, it's just important to, oh, well, never mind. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Believe what you like, but no judgment. I'm always keen on no judgment because you can't judge anybody.
So I have questions about your website. I checked it out. It's www.globalenlightenproject.com, and it's just packed full of information. And it looks like you also run your ministry from this site. Is that right?
Yeah, okay. We registered. Originally, I called it Christopher Macklin Ministries, and it's an incorporated company. It's a 501c3. So, if you make any donations for healings, everything else, you can claim it back on taxes. And I did that a while back. And then, of course, we realized that, I'm here for global enlightenment. Therefore, what we did is we made It sounds strange because I was talking to the lawyer because the name in Missouri, which is associated with the ministry, needs renewing, but it's called a fictitious name. You register it as part of the ministry. And I always laugh with the lawyer and say, why is it called fictitious? You know, because it sounds a bit dodgy, but it's not. But it's a registered name in Missouri, you know, part of the ministry, Global Enlightenment Project. And, you know, that's what we're here to do, enlighten people and, you know, help them heal. You know, all the days of the guru is gone, you know, because they're just after stealing all your money and doing things. You know, to me, my job here is to help people as quickly as possible get to that sovereign self, get to that inner strength, get to a high vibration where you're leaping out of bed in the morning going, oh my God, I feel incredible. Because, you know, part of that is finding your passion, in my opinion. The biggest thing in life, if you're a starseed, you're here to do big things. And so if you don't find your passion, you just think, what's the point of being here? I hear it every day. What's the point? And the point is that you have a God gift. And what you've got to do is discover it, learn it, you know, work on it, evolve it, and to the point where you get excited because, wow. Because the thing is about gifts, you don't even have to try. It's there. It's been downloaded. You know, this thing, all I have to do is listen to Melchizedek Beings about cause and effect, and it works. You know, but can I play the piano? No, you know, because my coordination's bad. Can I write books? Well, I've written how many? I don't know, 6 or 5, whatever. But because I've got dyslexia, I just can't do that well with writing. So I dictated to a ghostwriter, and she got my information and interfaced it for what people would understand in the outside world. And, you know, we evolved it. And so it was great, you know, so you have to just really focus on your gifts. And, you know, like if you're doing a spiritual business, you know, if you hate accounts, don't do them. You know, let the accountant, we pay our accountant $1,500 a month. She does all the accounts, gets on with it. Don't have to count beans because I'm not interested. Don't have to look at money because I'm not interested. I just focus on the gift of healing. We've got an IT guy. He fixes all the IT and everything else. We've got other people doing other things. All I do is the healing, and I love it. You know, it means you can really work with your passion and get excited about life instead of, oh God, I've got to go and fix my computer. Right there is the wrong energy, you know.
I think that's a really good point that you're making right there. I think that everybody would be so much happier if they could just focus on what they're passionate about, and it would probably change lots of things in them if they were able to do that. So, yeah, I'm with you on that 100%.
Oh, yeah, and the other thing, I mean, I speak to people who say, you know, but I can't afford it. How do you mean you can't afford it? If you focus on God's gift, you'll be blessed. You know, I can't tell you how much. And, you know, and you've got to focus on moving the money. It's not all your money. You know, some of it's for the people. Like, you know, we're feeding the IT guy, we're feeding the accountants, so they can put dinner on the table for their families. It's not all your money, but, you know, if it's, I can't afford it, I've got to do my own accounts, I've got to do this. No. You've got it all wrong. You know, as soon as you let go of all that, no, God's got your back. You'll always have the money to be able to pay these people and money for yourself as well. That's what it's all about.
Sure. All right. So I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but in a bit, we're going to dive down a hole and start talking about alien races and abductions and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Now, I haven't heard many people connect God, alien hybrids, or otherworldly encounters too much. How does this all fit together?
Well, you've got more evolved beings. The Melchizedek beings are very close to Prime Creator. When this third dimensional world was created, the Melchizedek beings did some creation here. Plus, they actually introduced the Akashic Records, which everyone, I think, has probably heard of. Why did they do that? Well, we knew that, you know, down here, over a period of time, people would create time machines and try and go back in time and alter history. And the answer is, can you do that? And the answer is no. Why is that? Because Akashic Records, in the past, you've got a timeline that you've been on, and, you know, it comes to the now. And all the alternative timelines you could have been on have also come to the now. So if you go on this timeline that you're on now and go back in time and say, I always give the example of Hitler, I don't know why, but in 1936, say, you see Hitler there, you say, let's take him out. You can't. Why is that? Because all the timelines in his Akashic Records have already happened. You can't alter them because they've already happened. So it stops people from altering the time-space continuum of the past and therefore altering history, and therefore the whole planet would be messed up because everything will be off balance. So So they put that in place to stop people from doing that. In the future, between right now, like, for example, you've got infinite timelines. You can do your radio shows, you can become a hairdresser, you can go and work in a restaurant, you can go and, go to space, you can do anything, whatever you want, that's your choice in the future. But but the past timelines, they're set because they've already happened. So that's an important point, I think.
I've already done all those things anyway. No, I'm joking. I feel like it sometimes.
Complete.
All right, so I want to ask you, I've heard the term thrown out there several times, not only by you, but by lots of people, and sometimes I think used very loosely. But can you define exactly what a starseed is for me?
Yeah, starseeds here. I mean, there's the average human being who's just been born, experienced this lifetime, and keeps growing and growing, coming back, time and time again to spiritually evolve. And sometimes it takes 100,000, 1,000, 500,000, whatever. And of course, there's manipulation involved with that. You can get stuck in a cycle. But for starseeds, what happens is the God realm, like the Melchizedek Beings or the Pleiadians or Prime Creator, they say, look, we need volunteers to come down here. And why do we need starseeds down here? Well, the answer is it's a completely third-dimensional world. It's completely free will. And often, I've heard people say, well, why can't Prime Creator get involved and fix all this? Well, it's a classroom. You won't learn anything. If the Prime Creator comes in now and just fixes all this and we're all good to go and hunky-dory and everything goes down in price and everyone's great again, no one's learned anything. And it's an education. So how do we get over the third dimensional? Even Prime Creator can't get involved. Well, what they're doing is burying star seeds down here. So, God said, well, okay, I need some volunteers. So there's, 200,000 volunteers. Everyone gets to the queue. Yeah, I'll volunteer. Not really realizing how bad it is down here, of course. Okay, you're going to get born down. You sure want to come? Yeah, I want to do it. So you get down here. You think, oh my God, what was I thinking? But it's just a joke, of course, because I love it down here. But the purpose of the starseed is to come down here and pull help from the ethers. Without that, they can't help. They're just sitting there like, just paralyzed, basically. Can't help because of the rules in the third dimensional world. So the whole point about starseed is you're born. You're either Pleiadian, Arcturian, Lemurian, Atlantean, Andromedan, Lyran. You can be Sirius A, Sirius B. There's many different starseeds. And, to me, if you are a starseed, you'll feel different. And so, well, how do I know a starseed? Well, you don't belong here. You don't feel as though you interface with people. You feel very alone, to the point of kind of being depressed. A lot of starseeds are because they get attacked so badly. So you'll know because, like I say, all the starseeds always say, well, God's dropped me off at the wrong planet. Do you think, are you sure they've got the right planet? Yeah. Just that you volunteer. But, the whole point about starseed is that it's up to us to work on our emotions, release the emotions, get your vibration up, get rid of any attachments. There's attachments here. What are they? Well, I noticed you had you've got the bishop coming on about, what do you call it? Like, exorcism and things like this. Well, the entities here, if you look at Jesus' teaching, and don't forget, I'm not a Christian, but I love Jesus' teachings. And he talked about demonic entities. What are they? Why are they here? Well, they're here and have been a long time. You've got Anunnaki. You've got Draconians. You've got Archons, which have no body. They float through the second, first, and fourth dimension. You have Luciferians, which are also, of course, connected to the Vatican, and that's part of the satanic stuff within the Vatican that bleeds out into the churches. And all these beings are there to try and shut you down, manipulate you. I mean, Luciferians are very, they're the ones that I think the Jews were talking about, demonic, because when they attach to you, if you get rid of them and they start leaving, they contort your body, or they speak through your voice box in a raspy voice. And I've exercised a ton of beings. We do that every week because most people who come for healings do have an attachment. Now, what do the attachments do? And if I'm going to share this, what they do is, for example, Anunnaki Draconians, they sit in the abdomen, they crash the liver, they crash the adrenals, so you're exhausted, They paralyze the intestines from the end of the rib cage down. So when you eat, it gets further down. It backs up. If it's there, you're not digesting nutrients. Taps in the lower back, damages the L4, L5 disc, and through the spinal column, it'll send you negative thoughts. Like if you're doing something, you're doing your radio show tonight, and they'll send you a thought, oh, that was pathetic, that's useless. And you keep getting all these thoughts, you should commit suicide, you're no good. And people get overwhelmed to the point where they do sometimes commit suicide, and that's why it's so important to remove these entities. But of course, if you remove them, they'll come back within 2 hours. Why is that? Because your vibration's precarious. So it's my job to help people, you remove the entities, for example, and then we protect them using a prayer or a map of intent, which is 27 esoteric merkabah field, to keep them out until your vibration is way above them. When you get to that God space, your vibration's so high, they can't even get near your energy field because your energy field goes too far. So they don't bother you. They go and bother somebody else. But, you might ask, well, why are they here? Why didn't God remove them? Well, because it's a classroom. There's a very close call. Think about this. The difference between violation and education. So education to me is if they show you a video before you come down, they show you what sort of life it's going to be, what entities here, and then they put you down here, and you've got to learn to navigate these entities, how to keep them out, remove them, and everything. That to me is an education. Now, if you've got a species like the Greys, where they're abducting you, they paralyze you, take them onto the ship, steal your sperm, steal your eggs, and then put you back down here, is that an education? No, because you never gave them permission. They never had permission. But the manipulators like the Anunnaki Draconians do have permission because you're shown it before you come down here. So it's an interesting world. That's what Starseeds are all about. They're here to really help humanity move forward. But of course, they're relentlessly attacked. When I was born, I had 8 strokes. Wow. After a few years, I burnt my back. Things have happened 289 times to take me out. It's not happened. The last one was a bioweapon in Los Angeles. They dusted me with something, and it's actually true malaria, which comes from rats. It's held by the MI6. There's a solvent, which was banned after 1960 because it delivers things so quickly through the skin. And then there's a binding agent. And I got really sick, and could hardly breathe. So I worked on myself. Got over that after 4 days, but then it started to collect in the side of my face, So we've got to actually work on that now. But, that's been a little bit of a journey because the stuff was very powerful. So, but to me, they'll never touch you if you really believe it. And that's one of the keys, I think.
Interesting.
Absolute faith.
So back to the Starseed thing quickly. I know there was a term maybe 10, 15 years ago that was thrown around there they would call them star children or indigo children. Are those the same things as Starseeds?
Yeah. It's just, I think it just depends when you've come through because the Starseeds, I'm, dare I say it, 33? No. Can't I get some discount? I'm 60 this year. And I think, in my day, the Starseeds came down with no knowledge, so they didn't bring knowledge with you. Now what's happening is because they want to accelerate and really help Starseeds move forward, they're bringing them down here at a much younger age with knowledge because they need to be on the ground running. But I think the problem with Starseeds, all Starseeds are absolute empaths, complete empaths. And so when you get here, you ingest an emotion from narcissists and passive-aggressive people, all these, sociopaths and all these people that are in this, planet. And is it their fault? Probably not. But they've been manipulated using mind control. And so it's very hard to navigate this planet when you're ingesting so much emotion, And I see all the time, my father's a narcissist and he's also passive-aggressive. And, he was 80, I think it was a year ago. I pointed out to him, I said, you're an abuser. And, because I got fed up with his beration, even at the age of 86. And so I'm done with it, So I set a boundary saying, look, I don't want to speak to you for a while because you're narcissistic, you're passive-aggressive. And he really ingested it. He got really depressed about it. I feel like an abuser. I said, don't feel like one. You are. But what you've got to do is start forgiving within you and stop berating people anymore. Start being loving, instead of berating and putting me down all the time. because I'm not prepared to tolerate it, because I deserve better. You know, we've all been powerless victims at some point where you tread an eggshell. You think, oh, God, I've got to invite that neighbour around, but if I invite all the others, I've got to invite them. Do you have to? No. You know, you have to show up and be, you have to be a warrior and think, no, I don't want you to come around my house because you've got the wrong energy. It's not judging them per se, it's just they're the wrong person. Yeah. And the other ones can come. But, you know, of course, oh, well, you know, I don't want to upset anybody. How many times have you heard that? Yeah, I can't upset anybody. Well, you know, I don't have that philosophy anymore. I have the people around my house, which I want, which love me, really take care of you. And the people who are, you know, passive, aggressive, judgmental or whatever, you know, I want to have them around. It's not that I don't love them. It's just that you don't want that in your space. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. So you touched on some of the ET races that are here. Now, which ones are the negative ones and which ones are the positive ones? Because I'm sure there's a mix, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, Palladians are positive. They're here to help. The Lumerians, Atlantarians, Andromedans, they're all positive. Sirius A and B, they're positive. They're warriors. Lyrians are positive. You've got the... obviously, the Melchizedek beings, you know, they're here to help as well. There's only 5 of us here, you know, and like I say, I know all of them. And then Andromedans, sorry, not Andromedans, what's the other ones? I'm missing one. The ones I work really closely with. And, you know, they're all here. They're all positive ETs. They're here to help. Now, the negative ones are things like, you know, the Draconians, the Anunnaki, the Archons. Archon Covenant was written by the, I think it was Rockefellers. They wrote the Archon Covenant. Get them all sick, give them pills, whatever. So the Archons they have no body. And one of the things they want to do is try and inhabit people's bodies. And then you've got the Luciferians, you know, worship Lucifer, you know, so, and that's, you know, that's the negative ones. Oh, Actorians, that's what I was looking for, the positive ones. Actorians, yeah, sorry. Skip my mind.
That's all right. What about, we're throwing around a lot of information here. So, I don't know how you keep it all in there. Cause I'm still trying to sort through, the first, you know, couple of things you said. So, so what about the technologies? Do they bring technologies with them here on Earth?
Yeah, but they're not allowed to give them to human race. However, human race, of course, in Hitler's time, they did a deal with Hitler where you could abduct people. The Greys did this, you know, the Zeta Greys. So they could abduct people, steal their eggs and sperm because they've damaged their planet and they can't reproduce. So what they're doing is making humanoids. So they agree that, you know, if they abducted people, as long as the government signed it, they can give them technology. So sadly, it's like giving, you know, a 2-year-old the keys to a Ferrari. It wasn't a good idea, but of course now the nanotechnology and all the technology they've given is here. I mean, if you notice, I mean, look what's happened, Kane, in the last 50 years. Look at the advancement of technology. It doesn't make sense.
Sure, it doesn't. You're right.
It should be on a much slower path where we can evolve, you know, spiritually, mentally, and of course we haven't. Like, you know, okay, here's some technology, and you know, of course, people use it for good, and a lot of people are using it for not so good, you know, and that's the thing I work on, Morgellons disease, you know.
Right. So we also here in the U.S., there's rumors of Eisenhower making a deal with these Greys as well. How is that true? Do you think?
Yeah, it is. I mean, I know Laura Eisenhower. She's the granddaughter. But what's interesting about Dwight Eisenhower is that, you know, he had no choice because at that time, well, he did have a choice actually. I'm maybe saying the wrong thing, but I think if your family's threatened, at that time his family were threatened, everything was threatened. We'll take you out if you don't sign this agreement. So he signed it, you know, sadly. But you know, these people are bullied into doing things. Now it's different, and I think we're in a new age where we're seeing, you know, the whole governmental system is rotten to the core. So is the banking system. So is everything. You know, people often ask me, "Oh, come on, there must be something that's not hijacked." I said, "Oh, hang on a minute. Let's me think. That would be nothing. Everything's hijacked. Skies, air, you know, food, water. You know, everything's hijacked, and it's you know, government. You know, court systems. You only have to open your eyes at it. And I think it's a lot for people because I think people have been so used to the government looking after you. And, I really want to see people get back to growing their own food, not relying on anybody but themselves. You are a sovereign being. You don't give your power away to any government or anything.
Well, I think that was the plan, right? I think that's the plan,
Yeah, yeah. I see this, I live in America. I'm an American citizen from 2018. And it was interesting. I'll just share this with you because I thought it was funny. But so sitting in front of the immigration officer, and he said, yeah, you've answered all questions, so is there anything else that couldn't make you an American citizen? I said, well, I do apologize. What's that? He said, got all excited. I can't give up afternoon tea. And he goes, I don't think we're worried about that. So I became American citizen. I'm proud of it. Honestly, Ken, I'm proud of it because I think this is a great nation. It's got a constitution. The UK and everything else is just controlled by the establishment there. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about because we've had a jubilee in the last weekend. Oh, God. But never mind. That's another story. There's nothing like celebrating reptiles, but, it's what it is. So I think Dwight Eisenhower was really, it was like my family or just sign this document. So he signed the document. Is it right or wrong? I don't know. There is no right or wrong. It depends on the how powerful a person is spiritually. If you're spiritually powerful, if it was me, I'd just not signing that. You can kill me first.
Yeah.
Get it. But that's me. For him, he was in a different place. So you can't. To me, you can't judge him for it. He did what he had to do at that time. And then maybe he evolved later on. So
sure.
Everyone's been there in certain, aspects, but, nothing can touch me because, again, it's all about absolute faith. And what I mean by absolute faith is this. People say, oh yeah, I've got absolute faith. Okay. So if someone's sitting and they point a gun at you and they start squeezing the trigger, what are you going to do? Oh my God, I'm going to get shot. Okay. You're going to manifest your own death. That's not good enough. But if you sat there and said, you're not going to touch me, full stop, there's no doubt, and you really feel that in every single part of your body, then what will happen is the universe will create a new reality. And so, and people say, well, why haven't you got a gun? And I'm not against people having guns. I think it's a good thing. If you haven't got the faith, you need to protect yourself. But I think for me, I don't want a gun. I couldn't kill anything. I can't even kill animals or anything, nothing. Can't kill anything because I love things so much. And so to me, a gun would be a waste of time because, I don't like them and I want one. But, but don't think I'm anti-gun because I'm not. I think it's a good thing this nation can defend itself, personally.
Yeah.
And that's a personal opinion, but it's just not me, you know what I mean? So that's just my personal view with who I am. So.
Okay. I want to talk about reptilians a little bit because I'm really interested in the reptilian race. How big of a role do they play in our governments and society today, do you think?
Everything. The Anunnaki and they're working with the Draconians and, of course, the Luciferians. They are controlling. The Anunnaki are a very advanced race. They've got certain technology that they've produced what they call reptilian hybrid. So what's a reptilian hybrid? Well, it's a reptile, but, it's an actual being. They've put enough of their DNA that they really don't have much compassion or anything. It's just all about control. At the moment, these reptilians want to come up. They're below the planet. And they're in massive caverns. There's millions, way more than the human beings. And they want to come up. So we've got a problem. Why is that? Well, why do you think Bill Gates, who is a reptilian hybrid, why do you think he wants to block out the sun? Well, these things don't breathe high levels of oxygen. So they can't come on the surface right now. But if Gates starts spewing all this crap, on top of the stuff he's spewing out in chemtrails already, then it's going to block the sun. The plants will start to die off. There'll be reduced oxygen here, and then these reptilians can come up. And believe you me, they're bad enough underneath, but you certainly don't want up here because we are cattle to them. They would eat us. So it's important.
Have they been here longer than us?
Yeah, but they ended up here, as part of a invasion manipulation type thing. So But, are they meant to be here? Who knows, but it's up to us to actually step up and eradicate the planet. And I think that's the biggest goal right now, is getting these things off the planet. Because they can't live in a high vibrational place. But because they're here, of course, people say, the collective has got to get to 5D. Well, how on earth do you get to 5D with more reptilians than you have human beings in a low vibrational state? It's not helping the planet evolve. And so we have the Pyramid Project to really help with that.
What exactly is the Pyramid Project?
It's basically, it's a huge project, 100,000 acres, and we're building, this may sound really crazy, so I'm sure people can say, God, this guy's nuts. But the Arcturians are building us off-planet pyramids. I'm in charge of the project down here, and of course those guys are in charge up there. They're building off-planet pyramids. They're like stargates. Now, why do we need them again? Because we've had them in the past. Palladians built the Giza ones, and other off-planet beings built the other ones, and there used to be a ton of them, but of course they're shut down. And they're actually shut down because they've gone off the ley lines. The ley lines do change in the planet. So in probably 700 or 800 years, we'll have to move these. So the buildings off-planet pyramids, made of moldavite, they're stargates. There's a lot more in them than just moldavite. And why we've got to put them on the planet? Well, the whole point about it, there's one's 999.999 feet tall, 666.666 feet tall, 333.333 feet tall. They're made really precisely. So what they do is they put them on the golden curve. Biggest one will sit on the ley line, and the next one will be on the golden curve, the next one. So what happens is they power the biggest one up, and it will inject so much energy into the planet, it'll blow out all the satanic symbology on the ley lines. And, if anyone knows anything about it, the deep state have a lot of symbols, they have banks, they have all sorts of things connected to the ley line, which suppresses the high vibrational energy. And so what this will do is it'll blow it all out. It'll clear the whole ley lines. And if it does that, the planet's going to raise in vibration. So does that mean the reptilians can't live here? Yeah, because the vibration of the planet will be too high. And once we reach that level, they'll leave or they'll perish. It's up to them. And that's why it gets rid of karma, because it's their choice. You know what I mean? They give it a choice. Live with a high vibration. If they redeem themselves, they could get a high vibration. But if they don't, they're going to have to leave the planet. So it'll flush out all these reptilians and draconians and things. So it's a huge project because, imagine like tomorrow morning, if a pyramid dropped out of the sky like 1,000 feet tall, out of nowhere, you can't possibly build it, in like 4 hours. It just doesn't happen. And in fact, there's not enough moldavite to build it. So people can say, oh my God, it's a gift from God, and want to come and see it. So the infrastructure we're going to have to build for this is pretty big. I mean, they believe, the banking people who are supporting this believe it's going to be about $200 billion. But I mean, don't look at me for the money. It's not my deal. It's God's deal. But we have a lot of people supporting this all over, including top banking people who are, in quotes, white hats. I don't like the word white hat. I prefer people who love humanity. So we've got plenty of people who love humanity who are trying to make this happen, and it's coming forward. So
Okay. I want to talk about the Greys for a minute, because we touched on that, about how they messed up their, tell me that again.
Yeah, with nuclear stuff and everything, they messed up the whole planet. So the planet's so they had to leave on ships and everything else. So they basically came down here to try and keep their race going using our eggs and sperm to create, grey hybrids, effectively. And that's what they're doing. They want to keep their race going. But they didn't get permission, because you need permission from that human being to enter their body and steal their body bits, and they didn't get permission. They got the government's permission, but that's not good enough. So we actually swept them. I mean, I chair the Galactic Federation, which is, meets different places, different dimensions. It actually polices a lot of things, all time space. There's a ton of people on it. Don't mix it up with the Palladian one or whatever. This is chaired by Melchizedek Beings, and, we're always looking at, that's why I said about the difference between violation and education, and that was seen as a violation. So they swept them off the planet about 3 years ago. They still appear through portals, but they're not allowed in the third dimensional vibration time space. What they do is they open portals and they try and manipulate by saying, oh, well, I'm in a portal, so I'm not in your third dimensional world. which actually they're correct. So they're just, in England, they call them cheeky blighters. Here they call them cheeky monkeys. Probably a bit too much endearment for them, but hey, they're manipulators. They really are.
That reminds me of that TV show, Peaky Blinders.
Yeah.
That's a great show, by the way.
Absolutely.
So that explains a little bit to me about you saying they're opening portals and they're coming through and kind of cheating that way. That explains why if you see sometimes a UFO and they blink out on you and you all of a sudden can't see it anymore, that makes perfect sense there. It also makes sense with women that claim to become pregnant overnight after being abducted, or then again, children being taken from the womb. That explains that as well.
Yeah, what they do is they obviously implant them. They leave it for normally a couple of months until it starts growing, then they'll take it out. So suddenly they're not pregnant again. But, it's interesting because, sometimes they just take the eggs and they do it test tube wise. Other times they'll make the woman pregnant by implanting them and then take it out. They'll be abducted again. But, but to me, it's evil, wrong, But obviously to them, I've got permission from the government. That's not permission. You need permission from the actual person themselves, I mean, I remember I've dealt with a few people who had abduction and I felt as though they were raped that night. They've been messing with the womb and the womb's very sore and everything else. And it's just not okay. I've worked with it, but and release the emotion of it. But, it's very interesting, but they wipe the conscious, but they can't go to the subconscious. It's impossible to wipe some subconscious mind. So if they meditate on it, they can see what happened in the ship, which is really interesting.
It's probably also why, the hypnotic regression works as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, because it's going to the subconscious and, you start explaining what you're seeing, real time, So I can do remote viewing. I can, it's probably a bit different than, it's not hypnotic regression per se. It's, remote viewing to me is when you can go back in time and say, okay, I need to know what happened last week between, 10 and 2 o'clock in the morning here, whatever, and they'll show you a quick video of it and I can see what happened, and then if you want to really look at various points, okay, stop at that point. It's interesting. I mean, I can remote view people's bodies as well, of course. But it's like, remote viewing to me is like having windows in your mind. And, you open a window, okay, let's look at the kidneys, let's look at the liver. And it's like having, say, 10 or 15 windows in your mind. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it does sound interesting. Are Greys the only ones that are abducting people, the only race that's abducting people, or do others do that as well?
Well, no, I mean, this goes kind of into the child trafficking, different things, but people are being abducted by the reptilians because they eat them. They eat our kids, they eat us, and people say, oh, yeah, whatever. I mean, I've spoke to people about this. That's so ridiculous. Doesn't happen in America. Oh, it does. I mean, DUMs are the, higher level, tunnels, and then they go right down like 8, 10, 15 miles, huge caverns where they are. And the reason why they stayed below the surface is because we feed them, our people, our children, and, it's stopping. And that's the thing that's been happening now is they're putting a stop to this. So, of course, now it's going to really upset them. And so it's, people say, oh, it's the deep state you need to take out. That's nothing compared with these things below the surface of the planet. Let me tell you, makes all the, deep state and the current government look like puppy dogs, I mean, they're evil, but they're puppy dogs compared with these things down here. They'll just eat you,
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
All right. Well, I want to touch on some of the healing that you do next, in the negative entity removals. You do work with a lot of abductees to heal them and people that are suffering from, the negative ET trauma. How do you go about doing this? How do you actually remove it? I know we touched on it a little bit, but what do you do?
Well, I work with a Melchizedek Being. So what I do is open a portal over that person, or actually 8 portals, and then put it around the person, close it off underneath them. And then what we do is put 27 esoteric Merkabah fields around the person, which is an 8-pointed solid star. And then we bond the portals to each point of the star. And so it means that the Melchizedek beings can come through and do work on them. But because they're in sacred geometry, they're protected whilst you're doing the work. This is one of the problems with healing that people don't realize, that, you know, if you're doing healing on somebody, if you're trying to send them energy and you're present but they're not protected, you can get a big old Anunnaki standing next to you. You can't even see it. And it could be sending negative energy, and then suddenly the person will throw up because, you know, they've tried to transmit, you know, the vibration of arsenic in their stomach or something else. And that goes the same for biofeedback machines. I'm not a fan of them. Not because, do they work? Well, they're kind of what you call elementary. They only pick one or two frequencies when there's a whole spectral density. In God's energy frequencies that you send, there's a whole spectral density. It's so complex you can never replicate it, but it's a kind of help. But, you know, think about this again. If you switch a machine on, it works on intent. And so, if you've got a big Anunnaki, send arsenic to them, you know, send cyanide, whatever. And this machine's transmitting these, you know, negative frequencies, and therefore you're going to get sick. So I'd encourage anyone who uses a biofeedback machine, have a look at the prayer protection and do it for the machine. It's a 27 esoteric Merkaba field prayer. Because if you put that around it, they can't get near it, and it protects the machine whilst you're using it. And that also, you know, is the same for people you're working on. If you're doing healing, you need to protect them whilst you do the healing, because it can be interfered with. I mean, I hear so many, you know, a very high percentage, probably 96% of readers are reading from reptilians. And what they do is they give you 3 truths and 1 lie. So they'll tell you something, wow, this is incredible. And then you're going to get 1 lie and say, well, you know, Ken, you're going to go to France. You're going to look for that house with the pink door, green roof, and, you know, whatever, in the middle of nowhere. And you say, oh, okay. Now, if someone says that to you in the future, of course, you're going to jump on a plane, or most people, probably not you, but you're going to jump on a plane, you're going to go and find that house, because it'll exist. You know, some crazy person's probably painted pink roof, green doors, who knows? But, you know, you say, oh, there it is. They were right. And what they've done is they've manipulated your timeline. So, you know, it's just really important to, I always tell people, go with your intuition. If you're listening to things online, like YouTube, like, you know, all these instruments, make sure you go with your intuition. Does it sit right with you? If it doesn't, switch it off. If it does, then listen to it. You know, it's the same with films. You know, a lot of films are manipulative. You know, is it good for me? You know, if it's violent, you know, then just be very careful, because reptilian energy is really addictive, and you can get addicted, even like pornography, all this sort of stuff. It's very addictive, and they love putting it out there because people get addicted to it. It desensitizes people, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, sex is a sacred act, you know, making love to your wife or, you know, partner is a sacred act. No, don't dilute it, you know. And I've had so many people addicted to pornography in this country. It's like untrue. And, you know, if you get the vibration and release the emotion and shift their perception, I don't know why I even looked at it, you know. Well, yay, we did it. We got you away from the addiction.
So diseases and illnesses that you're healing, you mentioned HIV, AIDS, Agent Orange, Gulf War Syndrome, Morgellons, Lyme. How many of those, I've heard you mention on other platforms that some of these are manufactured ailments. Like, who manufactured these and why?
Yeah, they are. I mean, they're all manufactured ailments. They're gain of function. People talk about gain of function. They've taken, like, bacteria and they've created pathogens, which is like Epstein-Barr, things like that. Can the doctors get rid of it? No. So, of course, if you have Epstein-Barr or herpes, they give you things to try and suppress the symptoms, but the actual pathogen itself, they can't get rid of. And then what they did is they created gain of function faster. So then they created stealth pathogens, which is Borrelia. When it blows up in the body, becomes Lyme. HIV blows up in the body, becomes AIDS. Agent Orange is obviously a bioweapon. Well, they're all bioweapons. And then you've got Morgellons. If you have Morgellons, you have Lyme disease, because the technology for Morgellons particles, which is the current problem that we have on the planet, I'm sure you know what I mean, is that it came from the Zeta Gray. So they're 10 to the minus 9 small. So what they've got is nanotubes and nanospheres. Nanotubes have CMOS chips, you know, complementary metal oxide chips in them, an array of them, and they're like 0.1 of a nanometer small. So they can fit within these graphene oxide nano tubes, and they can transmit, receive frequencies. But it's also bound to it is nylon 3633. You've got plant material, you've got silicates, you've got a whole slew of things bound to it, and it grows in your body. That's what Morgellons is. And the same with the nanospheres. They grow in your body. So how does nylon grow in your body? How does silicate grow in your body? Well, what they've done is they've bound it in a very clever way. Don't exactly know how they've done it because it's a DARPA project, but what they've done is bound it so that when it grows, what do you need for growth? Carbon-60. Oh, well, graphene oxide is basically carbon. Then you need oxygen, then you need warmth, you need moisture, and they've got all that in the body. So what the stuff does is start replicating in the body right through it grows through your whole body, including, your connective tissue, your muscles, everything. And, people become really sick with it. And depending on the immune response, you can get the various components that it's bound with coming out your skin, like nylons or like silicates or like, if it affects chromosome 53, doctors don't know got them in chromosome, but if it affects that one, then you get bugs walking out, literally like little fly things walking out, like you get a lesion and suddenly a fly will walk out your body. I mean, it's pretty freaky stuff.
Yeah, it is weird.
And I've worked at it for 14 years, and this world-leading toxicologist, which I work with, has worked with it for 40 years. And, I've been looking. It used to be that it was stuck in this dimension. So you could apply the space-time continuum. It would fry it over a period of time. It'd get better and better and better until it's gone. Took a long time. But then what they did is they start putting the grey. The greys have a metallic foil which can switch time and space. So what they've done is they've also bound that metallic foil to particles. So what does that mean? Well, if you're lying there, so Ken, say you had Morgellons. If I apply tachyon energy or the space-time continuum energy to your body, if it switches in dimensions and it's not there, then you're not healing it. Then as soon as we stop the energy, it switches back. So it's very crafty. And they did that, I think it was about 7 or 8 years ago, and I was looking for a method of stripping it out and locking it on timelines, and I came across it when somebody with Morgellons, they did the Akashic record clearing, and the stuff, it actually lights up, the stuff got getting crazy, because it's, it can move, it can, all this sort of stuff. So the stuff lit up when we put the Akashic record, hang on, it doesn't like the Akashic record, okay. And so I meditated on it, I realized, okay, so let's think about this. So going back to the Akashic records. So Ken, if you have Morgellons, if I split your timeline in two, you go on a path of divine alignment, complete wellness, where all the particles and everything else, beryllium, lime, HIV, AIDS, Agent Orange is out of your body. And all the stuff is stripped out on a timeline to the sun. It took me a while to develop this, but that's the fundamental principle of it. So think about this. Once it's locked on a timeline to the sun, if it switches out of this dimension to hide, when it comes back, it cannot get off the timeline in its Akashic record. You see what I mean? Okay. So it's locked on that timeline, which means that, it's going on a journey to the sun. Even though it switches out for a minute, it comes back, it's still on the journey to the sun. It can't get off that timeline. And I'm one or two Melchizedek beings who can split your now future timeline in two. And it's we worked on over 300 odd people, and it's had profound effect, So it's stripping out all the nanotechnology, stripping out heavy metals, stripping out beryllium, lime, HIV, AIDS, Agent Orange. But of course, you're probably going to ask me this. I don't really know, in chemtrails, beryllium, which is the stealth pathogen or spirochetes, they call them, of lime, is in the chemtrail. It's in the particles because it's bound to it, because it's a Morgellons particle. So they spray the particles, sinks through the skin. You've got beryllium in your body. You think, well, hang on, how do you get Lyme disease? Well, you have to damage the DNA so the immune's not taking care of business and allowing it to replicate. And so that's ingesting agrobacterium. It's in GMO foods or it's in past-needly things. Basically damage the DNA, allows the stuff to replicate. That's why, you think, well, on the whole planet, everyone should get Lyme if they've got beryllium in their body. But it's not the case, because it depends on DNA, RNA, and immune system is all connected. So it depends how robust your system is, whether it can actually keep it dormant or not. And, that's why not everyone gets Lyme. A few people do. Well, people think it's just from ticks, and it's not. It's from the chemtrail. So it's an important point. And it goes on and on.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we don't have enough time to go over everything, but I feel that way quite often with most of my guests. So, but yeah, this is fascinating. This is all fascinating, Christopher. It's a lot of information to unpack. That's for sure.
Well, also, we're being manipulated on this planet. The planet isn't quite what people think, and I've seen this for a long time. So I'm going to go back, if I can, very quickly. I just want to explain this. I think it's important.
Sure.
If that's okay.
Absolutely.
So when I was becoming an American citizen, I had to go for medical. So the doctor sat there and he goes, Homeland Security have asked me to ask you 5 questions. I've got to look at the expression on your face and make sure you're telling the truth. I said, okay. First question, he goes, so have you ever been to somewhere outside or a shopping mall? You don't feel as though you're there. Everything felt surreal and no one was communicating with you properly. I was like, what? Can it?
Yeah.
Well, clearly not. You know what they're talking about?
No.
Holographic inserts. Holographic insert is technology of the Greys where actually Walmart use it. And I'll give you an example. I went to Walmart. I don't go now because I can't stand the place, but I went into it about 3 or 4 years ago, and I walked in, and the whole place looked different. I looked to the right, and they had a subway where all the tables are bolted to the floor, missing. Okay. Looked the other way. The lighting was different. The colours were really off. And on the way in, there was no trolleys. I said to the guy was just standing there, like, you know, you could put your hand in front of his eye. I didn't see it. I said, there's no trolley. There's no trolleys. I thought, oh, hang on, this is a holographic insert. So anyway, I walked back out, removed it, walked back in. It was completely different. So holographic insert is technology where they put in the vibrational element of what you're in, they can actually change it. You know, it's solid, you know, where they change it, but they never get it right. They can never replicate it enough. So, you know, if you know what you're looking for, it's a holographic insert. It happened in Tampa. I flew into Tampa, landed, got into a rental car because I was, you know, going to St. Pete to do another lecture there. And 5 o'clock, there's not one car on the road. This is strange. It's not feeling right. Is it holographic insert? Well, yeah. Now, stupid me, I took it out straight away. So there's traffic. But what I should have done is shut up, left it, waited till I get to the hotel, and then take it out, because then I could have used it to my advantage. But I just didn't want to be in it because, you know, they feel uncomfortable, they feel surreal. So if you ever go into somewhere and it doesn't feel right, like, you know, in the middle of Walmart, people are dancing around in glass skirts and, you know, whatever, you know, saying the extreme, of course, but, you know, if it doesn't feel right, then it's not right. And, you know, we have a prayer, again, a map of intent to remove it. Using that prayer, it will remove it. If you walk back in, it'll look completely different. So going back to holographic inserts and stuff, they've used it on this planet. And, you know, people talk about the ice wall and everything else. The Earth is bigger. It is. I think it's twice as big as what people think. But what they've done is they've used partial holographic inserts to make the planet look a lot smaller and, you know, put us in what I call the Hunger Games. You know, the Hunger Games.
Yep.
So you're in an area where you can't get out of it, and, you know, you have to put up with this, you know. So it's kind of,
right.
So, you know, there's a lot going on, and that's the technology of also the reptilians. You know, the Anunnaki have this technology. So you know, they're messed about with things. So we're not getting our true planet, the true size, and everything else. So everything's manipulated. So
they actually asked you that when you were going through.
Asked me exactly that. You know, I mean, Ken, if you were sitting there and you weren't American, and you know, I think you're American, are you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you didn't have to go and do all the tests and stuff because you'd actually bought it. But honestly, I swear to God, you know, I sat in front and I was shocked. I thought, crap, they're talking about holographic inserts, but I just looked dumb. I thought, can you repeat that again? Something about a shopping mall, whatever, you know. Well, clearly, he got pissed off. He said, well, clearly not, you know. I said, I don't know what you're talking about, a shopping mall and feeling surreal, and it doesn't feel that you're there, and people are going to be, what are you talking about, you know?
So what if you would have said the opposite? What if you would have said, yes, absolutely? What would have happened then, and why would they ask you that? That's the weird thing.
because they want to know what you know, and if you knew it, then I think they'd put you on the list of, oh, this guy's pretty gifted. We need to keep an eye on him.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But that makes sense.
Ken, I'm on the list now anyway. I mean, the FBI about 4 to 6 weeks ago turned up. We have a lot of people, top people in the government, very deep in military, everything else, helping us to move forward with our project, and it's interesting because I've got to feel like we're being watched by authorities. Are we being watched? I mean, so okay. So I've got someone, he was a black ops, now white hat, he's working for the humanity and for the good and getting all the technology that they're trying to suppress out. And I phoned him up and said, can you check, and so he made a few phone calls. The next day he said, yeah, they've been watching you. They're worried that you might be cultish or something. So he said, look, wait for 7 days, see what they come up with. So he waited for 7 days, and I said, yeah, they're okay with you, but they're watching you. So I know that, and that's no problem. They watch me all they like,
Yeah.
People say, oh my God, they're watching me. Don't create your own demise. Of course they're going to watch you. A lot of these people are off-planet beings. They're hybrids, and they want to know who's gifted, who's doing what, and try and interfere. We've had our IT interfere with, you name it, emails. We have to move from Google to another platform. Everything's, they try everything.
Got to know your enemy.
Well, exactly. Keep them close, because if you don't, they're going to take advantage. But I never worry about it anyway. My belief is God's got your back. If God's got your back all the way, you don't have to worry about anything. You just have to do your job, and everything will just show up, which it does.
Sure. Well, Doctor, where can everyone find your books, the stuff that you've written, your ministries, or connect with you or your staff if they have questions or they're needing of assistance with a negative entity or anything like that?
Yeah, we can remove all these things, If you go to globalenlightenmentproject.com, everything's on there. You can email through the website. You can phone the office. The phone number's there. We do have 10 staff. We've got 3 girls in the office who, do bookings. I would also encourage people, if you do want help, buy donation, or, if you have no money, don't give any. It's okay. 3 times a week, I do healings by donation. It's Monday morning, 9 a.m., Thursday afternoon, 5 p.m., which is tomorrow at 5 p.m. Central Time, and Saturday at 11 a.m. Central Time. I always say, if you can help us, that'd be great, because we do live off donation. But if you've got no money, look, I've got the T-shirt on this one. And so just come on, because it'll really help you get out of this you get stuck in like a funk type place where you're stuck, you don't know what to do. And this will help you and release emotion and get your vibration up so you can step out and do things in the world. So, please come on them, I encourage all people to come on them, because, this is not an easy planet to live in, and we're feeling, if you're a starseed or an empath, you're going to feel, the collective emotion, and it's huge right now. And so, I think, what we're doing is providing a surface where people have to go out to work in a third dimensional world, and when they come back, we can help rebalance them, so it helps them navigate life,
Sure. All right, Doctor. Well, I appreciate you coming on.
Thanks. God bless you. It's been wonderful.
Yeah. It was a good time, man. A lot of information, so I'm going to need to process some of it. But I may have to ask you back on just so that we can pick through some of it.
No, I can come back on anytime we want. It'd be a pleasure. Bless your heart. It'd be a pleasure.
Sounds good.
It is a lot of information. This is just a small portion of the stuff we're dealing with, of course, as well. There's a whole lot more. But, but it's difficult to cover all of it at once. It's better to process some of it than, like you say, we can revisit some of the aspects, So it'd be a pleasure.
Awesome. All right, Doctor. Well, I appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ken.